Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, November the 4th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap-up, and it is NFP Day. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So, taking a look at the weekly wrap-up. The only gap that hasn't filled is the 24 pip gap down of the pound dollar. And we are 302 pips below the weekly open, 324 below the weekly high, and 145 off the weekly low. And we'll zoom out to the monthly. You can see we're 173 pips below the monthly open, 274 below the monthly high, and 145, 144, 143 off of that monthly low. And you can see we are well out of the opening range for the week and opening range for the month. We are 147 pips below the opening range for the month. And it looks like about 171 below the opening range for the week right now. We're 2,238 pips below the yearly open. We had an inside bar 13 days ago. Yesterday we broke below it. Today we are breaking back to that inside bar, as you can see. And we've got some action on the inside bars across the pairs. So actually, I'd like to know how many inside bar traders are there out there? Whether you traded on the daily, weekly, monthly, maybe even the 1 minute. I'm just curious how many traders trade it. Since it's NFP day, note more pairs over 100 in range than under. The pound clocking in at 191. On the hourly chart, you can see right here from the buy zone on that NFP. Was that NFP? No. Announcement? No, that was, let me think. This is 9876. This must have been the NFP announcement here. I can't quite remember. Well, we'll take a look. Let's zoom in. Let's take the, no, we don't want templates. We want the 30-minute candle. And let's see. So this is the 8:30 candle, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30. Yeah. So this was NFP. It popped down here. Actually dipped into the launch pad, and you can see what happened after it dipped into the launch pad. So we had a launch pad at the 11:40 launch, and we also had a launch at the 12:40, and you can see it launched there once, a second time. We haven't quite gotten to the 13:40 launch pad. Who knows, it just might, the way that today is going. Rat zone, red rats feasted. I believe the green rats had a nice feast here. I'm pretty sure that was enough range. Bambino flex indicator said go short at the pivot. It worked, or near the pivot. It worked the first couple of times. Trading plan said go short at the pivot. It worked the first couple of times, but then we shot right through the weekly pivot and our daily pivot. And we can see here we took out the daily, we took out the weekly, and we've taken out the monthly. So now we have to look for missed pivots from 2 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 and 8 months ago. See what happens. Wick zone, in and out of that lower wick zone. The range, oh, nice range here, 467 pips. But notice that wasn't done. We didn't add to the range today. We didn't break out of the previous high, but we did, weekly high that is, but we did break out of the previous low by 111 pips. High minus the close right now for you rats, 339, and close minus low, 129. For the buy zone traders, 21, high minus open, and for the that was for the long, and open minus low was 447. Looking at the Wall Mall lines here, short at the 1310 paid off. The if you might have been able to take a pip out of the 1320 if you took that long. And you can see here on the lowest high, highest low, we had a trigger a while ago, put in a 3-ball at the top, then we had a short trigger, and you can see it danced around that 13, 16, 17 area before falling down. Frequency distribution here. Oh, and by the way, there's some traders who are trading some instruments that aren't Forex, and there's some of them are running into problems with this. You guys have to remember something. I code indicators for Forex, and one of the problems that had happened was I'm looking for 24 bars in a day. Well, there's some pairs or some instruments that don't trade every hour of the day, so the indicator was miscounting because it was looking at 24 bars when in some cases there's only 23 or 22. So I'm gonna probably have to write another version of the indicator, or I'm gonna have to reformat the entire logic to make it work on other instruments. So you have to remember when you're looking at this stuff, I'm always talking about Forex pairs. You rarely see me talk about anything else. And so that's what the indicators are set up for. So just bear with me and I'll see if I can figure out the problem. Now, there's one other thing about that. I might not have the same data that you have. I might not have access to those same instruments, so I might not be able to test. So you're going to have to test the code as I make changes and write new code. Okay, range by month. So far, November 420. So you can see we're above at least 1, 2 other years so far. So we've got a lot of range, looks like, to go. We'll take a quick look at the ATR. So if we look at the ATR, you can see November clocks in around 580, is clocking in at 582 right now, which is somewhere, looks like, within the range of we're not at the bottom, we're not at the top, we're somewhere, we're probably in the lower third just looking at these numbers. Also, let's see, let's look at the year-to-date accumulated range. We haven't added to that since September, and you can see at 33.90, 2008 was above it, 2009 was above it. But so we're putting in a nice range for the year so far. Close minus year-to-date open percentage. You can see we're down 16%. So far. And let's see. Close minus open. We're down 185 pips. So far we're red for the month. We'll have to see if we can, if the traders want to push that back above. Trying to see, is there anything else we want to look at? Close minus open. Year to date open. We've already talked about that. High by month, low by month. So those are pretty much the numbers we need to pay attention to on the range. On the trade reminder, I don't really see anything earth-shaking once again. I don't really see anything here that is telling us something out of the norm is happening, because that's really what we're looking for as traders. Or one thing is we're looking for things out of the norm and some way to exploit those things out of the norm. So I hope you've enjoyed our topic of conversation this week. How much is enough? In fact, I thought of something else to add to it, so when Walmart comes back on next week, we'll continue into another part of that discussion, because it really does have to do with planning and psychology. From the planning standpoint, you know, you're looking at numbers, you're looking at risk, you're looking at money management. But from the emotional standpoint, you're kind of looking at greed. And is it out of control? Is it realistic? You know, we talked about taking the lion's share and taking it, you know, are you getting enough? Are you making what you want to make? Versus looking at what's possible and trying to capture even more. It's a fine line. It's a balance. I know for myself, yes, I get upset sometimes. You know, yell at the monitor when I exit a trade and then it keeps going my direction. Or I enter a trade and it never gives me an opportunity to exit that trade with a profit. You know, I call it the inflection point. And some brokers are really good at sticking it to the trader, from the sense that, especially if you're used like a broker like I'm using here, they're one of those you know, you pay the spread, you don't pay a commission. And sometimes they just seem to put you in right at the highest ask or the lowest bid, and then they reverse on you. And it's really hard sometimes to get your entry point. So you might want to be in at a 10 line and they put you in at 11.2, and then they reverse it on you. But that's just the breaks. And sometimes you just might have to say, hey, this method doesn't work with this broker. I either need to change methods or change brokers. Because, fellow traders, as we all know, we have to take responsibility for our outcomes. So I'm going to wish you a fun and safe weekend, and I hope you had a profitable day and week, especially NFP day. And remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out and drain the banks. This is TheRumpledOne.